have a confession to make. I'm an iOS developer that has never seen more than the keynote for Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. That is until WWDC 2022. Hey everyone, I'm Vanessa Flores, and in this video, I'm going to share with you how my first WWDC week went, how I prepared for it, how I struggled, and how I came out of it feeling like a champ. No, I didn't. I'm pretty sure I came out of it with extra gray hair, and most definitely with some imposter syndrome. For those that are unfamiliar with Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, it's a week-long event, typically in June, where Apple reveals to the public during their keynote what new features that users can expect. And it's also known as Christmas for iOS developers because Apple also reveals through video sessions what new APIs, tools, and platform changes will be available for devs. We were given the opportunity at work to take the week off of shipping feature work so we could consume all this new information to keep ourselves up to date. In the weeks leading up to Apple's developer conference, my coworker started talking about it and asking what each of us was looking forward to. Of course, I waited to go to the last minute, debating if I should even or could pull an answer out of my ass or come clean and be transparent that while I have watched some WWDC videos from previous years, I basically had no clue what went on during WWDC week. I chose to come clean. What helps me be more at ease when I'm trying something new is to feel prepared. And I'm in Chicago, so for me, WWDC started at noon. And naturally, I started off my Monday morning Googling how to prepare for WWDC. Yes, I do realize I waited till the last minute to prepare. The first resource I came across was Dave Jacobson's parody video, and here's what he had to say about it.
Let's just say there is a lot that's going to be thrown at you. Watch parties, digital lounges, Twitter spaces, Apple Design Awards, lab sessions, recap live streams. So you gotta be prepared.
But the most important takeaway for me was the snacks.
Now we have meal prep. And this was a piece I did not have totally dialed in last year. It cost me some setbacks with things like trips to the grocery store and all the time spent cooking throughout the week. So I've learned my lesson and I'm gonna make sure to hit meal prep really hard and be ready to go come game time Monday.
Now that I knew what to expect and how to ensure my sustenance for the week, I needed a strategy, and that's where Antoine Vanderlee's article came in handy. The top two takeaways here were plan your week and pick your battles. So that's what I did. Well, sort of. My plan for the week was watch videos. I started out by taking a look at what sessions would be released each day and making a list of which ones I wanted to watch. As for picking my battles, well, I debated between picking a couple topics that sounded appealing and sticking to videos related to those topics, or watching anything and everything that seemed interesting to me, and I chose chaos. I felt like Monday went really well. I did my prep work, I watched the keynote, took a lunch break, then came back for the platform State of the Union, took a dinner break, and then finished my evening with the Apple Design Awards. And I was rooting for the Slopes app, and it did win, so that was exciting. Not that I've used it, but it just looked pretty cool. Unfortunately though, the rest of the week didn't go as smoothly. I went into Tuesday starting out strong. I made sure I knew what videos I wanted to watch. And I had my snacks ready. Of course, I watched What's New in Swift, What's New in Xcode, SwiftUI, and UIKit. Then things started going downhill. I ran out of popcorn. And it was the second time my watch was reminding me to stand up. So obviously, I got up, started waving my arm around to get my standing credit for the hour, and then pulled my rowing machine within view of the TV so that I could keep watching videos. The later in the day got, the more often I kept having to rewind the videos because I kept spacing out. I caught myself feeling like I needed to know how whatever I was watching would or could apply to our app at work. And the next day, when my Tuesday strategy wasn't really working for me anymore, I started watching videos on my iPad while I was walking on the treadmill to get myself off the couch and get my feet moving. Was I able to pay enough attention to take notes? Yes. Do I remember any of it? Nope. All that strategy did was take away from my chance to take a break. And this was day 3, and all I kept thinking about was how am I supposed to magically squeeze in playing around with the new APIs in between keeping up with all these videos? And the rest of the week didn't get any better. My point is, the reason things started going downhill for me was because I was doing everything I could to try and get myself to keep up with all the videos. I assumed that my coworkers and all the people tweeting about the new thing they were excited about were breezing through the videos without a problem. As the week went on, my attention span dropped, I was getting bummed out, and my imposter syndrome kept creeping in. I had started the week with the intention of making a video on my first experience with WDC, and it went nothing like I thought it was going to. The original plan was to shoot some vlog-style moments of me watching the videos and giving my thoughts on them, downloading and exploring Xcode Beta, and playing around with some of the new APIs. But I was already struggling to watch the videos, and I didn't want to distract myself even more by trying to film at the same time. So not only did I feel like I didn't have much to show for having a free week at work to learn Apple's latest and greatest, but now I didn't even have a video idea anymore. I kept trying to come up with a way to save some of my original idea for this video, but that meant spending my weekend learning about playing with the APIs, and that was the last thing that I wanted to do. I was already drained and wanted nothing to do with watching videos or anything iOS related. I kept thinking about a tweet that I had come across from self-taught staff, and she was sharing a Reddit thread for devs out there who struggle with ADHD. And I'll share the tweet and Reddit links in the description. That simple tweet of calling all devs with ADHD and sharing a helpful resource really started helping me feel a lot better. And it reminded me that my brain wasn't built to watch videos all day, every day for a week. Like no one's is. So naturally the whole week was going to be a struggle. There are a lot of tips out there on how to have a productive day at work, but the majority of them aren't ADHD friendly. When I would think about the type of content that I'd like to make for this channel, I kept trying to figure out how I would mix content on my lifestyle as a developer and creator with helpful tips for ADHD. But seeing that tweet reminded me that my ADHD is not a different topic. It's part of my day-to-day and it impacts everything that I do. Working with my ADHD coach, I've also learned that I'm the most effective when I do something that I enjoy, something that energizes me right before doing something that requires a lot of my mental energy. When I started reflecting on how my week went, I noticed that my strategy on Tuesday and Wednesday was that of me forcing to do things in a way that just doesn't work for me. On Thursday and Friday, I started weaving in my personal time with work stuff so I could take breaks that I needed and re-energize in order to keep going and stay focused. And that helped, but I also felt guilty about it for some reason. Then I realized that earlier in the week, I had been fighting against a strategy that actually helps me be effective. And that's what sparked the new idea for this video. Instead of a success story of these are the things I learned during WWDC, this turned out to be a pivot into a reminder that my brain doesn't function the way the world expects it to. And that's okay. This was also a good reminder that it's okay to not get as excited about binge watching all the videos and trying out the new APIs like other people do. It's okay that being a developer is just your day job and you want to turn your brain off to it at the end of the day. You know what? It still is a success story because while I didn't watch all the videos or explored all the APIs I had intended to, I watched enough of the videos to walk away with an idea of what learning paths that I'd like to explore for my road to a senior dev promotion. So I would call that a win. Alright, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments how WWDC went for you, or if you also struggle with neurodiversity in the workplace and life, don't forget to subscribe.